And going back to the motocross guy, he had all 4 of those symptoms. He's 22 years old, making $6 million a year. Okay? We spent 6 months training him, and he never went over 45% of his maximum heart rate. Okay? He still went out and won. So it wasn't a matter that he needed to go and do all the gut-wrenching, hardcore stuff, and neither do you. Stop. You go, yeah, but what about trying to go fast? Do it once a week, maybe twice a week. Rest of it, spend it down here. Your endurance will go through the roof. Your body fat will drop. Okay? If you're someone who already struggles because you've got the eating disorders, you'll actually start to gain muscle. So you don't have to worry. That's not a bad thing. Okay? Muscle weight is important. Okay? And just as a side note, if you are struggling with eating disorders, call me. Let's talk about it. There's some tools that I can send you where we take body measurements so you can see muscle is growing, because a lot of you get concerned when the scale goes up because you're convinced that's body fat. It's not. Absolutely it's not. What you're doing, I teased you last week, if your urine stinks really bad after a run, that's the ammonia being released from cannibalized muscle tissue. That's not good when you're trying to build muscle. Okay? So there's some things that we can implement to get you off this cycle. And the reason why I bring it up is you have both ends of the spectrum. Like I say, there's the weight loss group, there's the people that are fighting issues, and the people that want to get fast. But the truth of the matter is, we all deal with all 3 of those. That's why I wanted to bring them up in this context. Because if you've fought with an eating disorder, you've weighed back here and then you've come back here. If you're heavy, you think you'll never get up here and you've come back here. And then if you're a fast runner and you want to get even faster for an ultra or whatever, you kind of struggle because you think you might not fall out of that sweet spot a little bit. And that's why I want to get into the psychology side of it. These numbers don't lie. They don't care what you think. Okay? If you want to build your base of endurance and you want to burn more body fat, start training with a heart rate monitor. The key is you've got to know what your heart rate reserve is, because what we do is that's where the spreadsheet will give you your 5 training zones. You're golden. If you say to me, I'm going to the track, you go down to zone 4 and 5 and you know where you need to be. If you're going to go for an easy run, you look at zone 1 and 2. And the one thing that I'll say in closing is you can't go too easy on your easy days. And people hate to hear that. Okay? As you guys know, I do a lot of work with triathletes. Go to YouTube, and there's a guy by the name of Bob Babbitt. He's doing Breakfast with Bob at Hawaii all week long. You go, I'm not a triathlete. Please listen. Bob Babbitt, for literally the last 5 days, has done nothing but interview athletes. Okay? Listen to what they're saying. They've all been here and bought this t-shirt. The best athletes in the world. Luke McKenzie won the race one year. The next year was 100 yards from the finish line, drops, goes to the hospital, is hospitalized for 3 months. His large intestine had gotten turned inside out. They had to cut 17 feet out of his large intestine. Okay? Listen to his story about what this is all about. Him buying into it's always better up here. It's his job. Listen to Miranda Carefree, who's won the race twice. Who's you women, you'll love this, knuckle punched women power. Okay? She was the 2nd fastest marathoner amongst everybody last year with a 2:42 marathon off the bike. There was only one guy beat her the entire race. It's pretty cool. Okay? Listen to her story about where she's been. Chrissy Wellington, who's won, she's raced Ironman 8 times around the world, and she's never lost. She's had the worst eating disorder her entire youth. Okay? So this isn't just, and I'm not harking on the eating disorder side, but I'm telling you that the heart rate monitor will keep you off this insanity cycle, because it does come down to the psychological side. Am I doing the right thing for the right reasons? Okay? So I want you guys to go to Fleet Feet, get yourself the cheapest model. If you're a technical guru, buy the one with all the bells and whistles. Just use it. Okay? Because like I told you, it'll tell you the gross domestic product, what's in your banking account. The watch will tell you everything. Okay? These watches are crazy. Okay? But if you're not going to use it, don't buy it. Okay? Does anybody have any questions on this? Because I'm hoping that if this is confusing, please ask it. Because if you're confused, somebody else is as well. There's no dumb questions. Okay? Email me and I will send you the spreadsheets to do the max heart rate assessment. I'll give you the heart rate spreadsheet. I'll send you our sweat rate calculator. Just tell me what you need. Yes, Julie? That's why I was saying 2 would essentially be the glass ceiling, and anything below it is golden. So let's just say for even numbers, it's 130 or below. If you want to run at 118, great. You're not doing any harm. You're burning more fat. Just don't go above the 130. So you almost want to look at, on an easy run, you're looking at more what the glass ceiling number would be. Does that make sense? this gets a little bit technical, but just be patient with me. If you guys are trying to work on what we call your threshold speed, you're good for a mile, but you can't sustain it for 5, okay? You're gonna notice there's a heart rate zone 3 in there. And let's just say for even numbers, it's 150 to 160. You have to understand that you're not improving that threshold until you get above 150, but you don't wanna go above 160 because then you get into what we call lactate tolerance. It's non-sustainable. So if you're trying to work threshold to go duration, and that's where your strength in the gym with your fitness partners, which is awesome, build your strength and learn how to be able to get it to go 6 miles, 8 miles, 13, 20, 26. That's your sweet spot, is to race in zone 3. Because you're not burning sugar so fast that you bonk, but you're going fast enough that allows you to hit your PR. That's a great question, because at the end of the day, you want to know what pace. I'm going to just make this comment. If it doesn't make sense, raise your hand. Julie, you're the only one that has the courage to raise your hand, so if it doesn't make sense, do it. There's an inverse relationship between volume, i.e. your distance of run, and your intensity. If you're going to run a 5K, you can take your intensity up. Why? Because you're running 3 miles, 3.1. If you're going to run a marathon, you can't go out of the blocks at your 5K pace. Does that make sense? The inverse relationship between duration and intensity. Okay? You have enough stored sugar to go an hour. We already talked about that. So if you're running a 10-minute mile, you know that you don't need to take sugar in because you can go 3 miles. Okay? The question is, what is the fastest you can run that distance? My question is, turn the question around. I don't care what your speed is, because what if there's hills on the course? That doesn't mean that you're not a 10-miler. You're a 10-15 with hills, but you're still a 10-miler on the track. You see the little psychology, the little negative thoughts? Okay? What I ask you is, how fast can you run at a heart rate of 150 to 155? And then you let it fall in place. Because here's where, and I've got Babette as an example, I've got Jose and Julie as an example, okay? Every athlete I've ever coached, when they run off of heart rate, they end up, and you attest to it, you tell me if I'm blowing smoke, every person ends up running faster at that heart rate than they thought they could, and then they end up setting a PR by following the intensity instead of going, I have to hold a certain pace. And the wheels start falling, I have to hold a certain pace. No, because that pace is taking you, it's probably too slow, to be honest with you. I mean, you set your PR doing the same thing, Jules. So, does anybody, because that's a great question. When we talk about heart rate zones, you have to be in the right ones. But when it comes to easy, there is no such thing as too easy. If you ride bikes and you can ride 25 miles an hour, an easy ride should be 16, 17 miles an hour. Unless your ego gets involved or you're riding in a group. Well, I can't let them go. Got to go after them. Wave them goodbye, because that's what they're doing. Don't deviate from what your goal is for the day. Julie and Jose say you guys are supposed to run X duration of time and it's supposed to be easy. If everybody runs off, keep running on your heart rate. Some of you have that discipline. I know some of you are social butterflies. I don't want to get dropped. Okay, I get that. I understand that. Ask your friends to slow down then. If there's a true friend, they'll slow down. It's an easy day, okay? If it's a speed day, wave them goodbye. Or you drop them, you know? Any questions? All right, I appreciate you guys coming out. Like I said, please email me. If you guys want to talk about sensitive stuff, call me. I have no problems with that. Julie, I think everybody has my phone number on your emails and stuff. But if not, I'll be happy to give it to you as well. Or just text me and tell me when to call you, and I'll be happy to do that as well. Good job, by the way, on doing the fluids. Good stuff. Difference a week makes, huh? That's it. You're welcome, guys.